Hi, my name is Adam Weymouth, and I wanted to talk to you a bit today about my book, Kings of the Yukon. Thanks very much to the Travel Yukon Book Club for choosing Kings of the Yukon for the month of June. It tells the story of my canoe trip down the Yukon River, beginning at the source of the Yukon River in the Yukon Territory in Canada, and then finishing 2,000 miles later, where it's crossed Alaska and ends up in the Bering Sea. And the purpose of the trip was to try and understand something about what's happening to the king salmon. The Yukon is the longest salmon run in the world. These salmon have an incredible life cycle. They're born way upriver in these little streams, and as juveniles, they'll drift down to the ocean. They'll spend most of their adult lives out in the ocean. And then in the very last months of their lives, they'll swim back up the Yukon River 2,000 miles into the current, not eating or drinking, navigating, it's now thought, by their sense of smell, sniffing out the pools that they were born in. And when they arrive in those pools, they'll spawn themselves and they'll then die, leaving their eggs for the next generation. And the numbers of kings that used to come up the river, it was said that they were so thick that the ones on the outsides were forced up onto the banks because there were just so many fish going up the river. But those numbers have absolutely crashed in recent years. And no one really knows why. And so the purpose of the book in the beginning was to try and understand what's happening to the salmon, why are they disappearing, and why does it matter? And so I spent 4-5 months paddling down the river and stopping it off at a lot of fish camps along the way, indigenous villages, bigger towns like Whitehorse and Dawson, and then other towns and villages in Alaska as well. And I started to see that as I paddled, that to talk to people about the salmon was to talk to people about all sorts of aspects of their lives. It was to ask people why they chose to live where they did, what they hoped for their children's futures, what it meant to be indigenous in a capitalist society, what it means to be both a First Nations person but also a 21st century Canadian. And through telling the story of the salmon, I uncovered this much wider portrait of the Yukon River. To ask people about the salmon was to really ask where the Yukon itself is going. So I really hope you enjoy the book. I really hope you enjoy going on that canoe journey with me. Maybe it'll inspire you to do some paddling out in the Yukon yourselves. And I'd love to know what you think. Thanks very much.